This was a debate in Iowa and in Des Moines in the state capitol, and we're 3 weeks to the day from the caucuses. So this is really crunch time. This is the last time the candidates had to make their case before a national audience. Iowans are sort of famous for deciding late and breaking late. The polls show a tight race among the top four frontrunners, which are former Vice President Biden, Senator Warren, Senator Sanders, and former Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. They've been in a bit of a spat for the last couple days. This concerns a 2018 meeting where they were both in attendance. No one else was there. And Warren says that Bernie told her during that meeting he didn't think that a woman could be elected president. Exactly what she said was, she said a woman could be elected president, and he disagreed. After she said that on Monday night, Sanders vehemently denied it, said that it was absolutely false, and his campaign began to accuse Warren's campaign of leaking a lie to sort of slow down his momentum because he's been gaining some traction in the polls. It was an issue that came up again and led to a sort of tense and short but interesting exchange. Warren basically said that Bernie had said it, and she made a point of noting that of the men on the stage, there were four male candidates. They had all lost 10 elections between them, whereas she and Amy Klobuchar, the senator from Minnesota, were the only two women, had both won all of their elections and were undefeated. That exchange went pretty well for Senator Warren. She got a big hand in the hall for sort of expanding the issue, not just about her and Bernie and a sort of he said, she said in a meeting that no one was at besides those two, and turning it into a larger issue about why women are electable and great candidates. So the timing of the Sanders campaign has picked up on that and said that if this were true, it would have come out. This was a meeting in 2018 to discuss 2020. It would have come out long before this, and the reason it came out now is because there was a poll in Iowa showing Sanders really having a strong performance and surging. She says that that's not true, that basically there was some CNN reporting out there saying that this had happened, and her statement was just a way of corroborating that it came from her. Bernie, for his part, came out and said he didn't say it, he never said it, and he didn't believe it. He said that Hillary Clinton beat Donald Trump by more than 3 million votes in the popular vote last cycle in 2016, and that it was obvious that a woman could win a presidential election based on that. Senator Klobuchar also had a pretty good night. I think she got some. She was also asked about the gender question, and certainly agreed that a woman candidate can bring a lot to the table that male candidates cannot. The question is, if you're a female candidate, do you have a harder road to hoe to get to the White House because of gender biases, inherent biases in society, and a lot of people that even are very, very supportive of the idea of voting for a woman and having a woman president, if you talk to them, voters and others, they have a little bit of worry about whether or not sexism could ultimately derail the candidate. In terms of Tom Steyer, he made the case that he's been a successful businessman, and it's really going to take somebody that has business experience to take on Trump because Trump's going to run on the economy. So Vice President Biden, I think, had a pretty decent performance. He has been criticized in the past for being a little bit sort of unsteady and sort of wandering with some of his answers. He was very crisp and had a lot of clear, short answers this time, and I think reported himself pretty well. There was also a lot of discussion about Iraq and former Vice President Joe Biden's vote to authorize the war in Iraq. Bernie Sanders went after him pretty heavily on that, and Biden was able to say, that was a long time ago. I regret that particular vote. We shouldn't have gone into Iraq, but I really helped the Obama administration extricate our nation from that war. Mayor Pete was asked about foreign policy and was able to really speak to his time as a combat veteran in Afghanistan, and he told a very dramatic story towards the beginning of the debate about when he was deployed, and he remembered people, soldiers in his unit having a chance to say goodbye to their family and having little children run behind fathers who were being deployed, and it was quite dramatic. And since he's a combat veteran, and that's something that the other candidates don't have experience with.